Yes, my daughter, she's 1.5, and she has this thing now where she usually wakes up in the middle of the night, and we're trying to wean her, do night weaning, and she doesn't like that, so she spends about an hour and a half sort of like crying or like excited, wanting to play, and so that's taking its toll. For any, I don't know, we've got a few young people here, but try not to have a baby in your 40s. So, yes, I'm a photographer. I've been doing photography for over 20 years. I started doing it for myself in high school, and then after high school I kind of transitioned into odd jobs and various kinds of assisting. I've done all sorts of photography over the years, both as personal projects and working for other photographers. I've had the opportunity to see a lot of different kinds of photography. And see what really interested me and what didn't. Bill was asking me the other day if I do commercial work in addition to the people. You know, obviously I do weddings and portraiture and family shoots, seniors, graduating seniors, or old people too. But yes, I do commercial work as well. And commercial work is a kind of a broad umbrella term in photography, which can mean anything from pictures of people for an advertisement of some sort, down to, you know, photographing thousands of widgets for a catalog or something. So there's a lot of specialties within that category, and I would not describe myself as a specialist in necessarily any one of those categories. You know, there's some people who their whole thing is photographing bottles for companies that, you know, do a brewery or something, and they need perfectly lit pictures of bottles for their website or for their advertising campaign, and you know, you would hire a specialist for something like that. But the kind of people that you might run into in your business are people like you that may have stores, or they're manufacturing something, or they have a large operation where they need photographs to illustrate their promotional materials or to illustrate their website. And I can certainly be brought in to look at what their project is and see if I can help them. And you know, I obviously, if I'm not up to whatever it is that they're doing, or if I'm not interested or I'm not capable of doing it, then we would figure that out pretty early, and they could move on to somebody who is a specialist. But there's a lot of things that that might come up that I could do in that kind of category. Just to give a little more history, there's some new people that weren't here last time when I spoke. When I started out, I did assisting for a photographer who, part of my work was working in his darkroom doing black and white printing. He would travel the world and photograph for aid organizations, and then come back and I would print up all the pictures to give to stock agencies. So I developed really wonderful black and white darkroom skills, which are pretty much worthless now as a commercial thing. But it honed my eye in a way to see what a successful image was and what it wasn't, in terms of composition and light and all that sort of stuff, and it really informed my own photography. They say, you know, when you're trying to develop a visual skill like that, one of the best things to do is look at other people's work and then see what you respond to and what's successful and what isn't. He also ran a small studio where we did all kinds of commercial work. One of our biggest clients was a company that was like, they produced a catalog of all sorts of weather-related things. So weather vanes and thermostats and really efficient light bulbs and, you know, all sorts of little knickknacks, garden art and stuff like that. And so we would photograph all sorts of things, both in the studio and also on location. So so there, I gained a wide level of experience with a bunch of different kinds of categories that way. I've also traveled extensively. I've been to the Middle East and Asia many times. I think that that informs both my aesthetic and also who I am as a person. I spent a lot of time in Buddhist countries. I'm really drawn to places like in Southeast Asia. There's a certain quality to the people that is, I think part of it is the Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist, but there's a relationship between people that is fostered in those cultures that is really resonant. Let's see, what else? As many of you know, I worked in Seattle as an assistant to a kind of a famous wedding photographer who photographed Bill Gates' wedding. I was not assisting her at that time, but we did many weddings for lots of Microsoft people, and working with her, I gained a kind of experience that has been probably the most useful thing in my photographic career, because we would have to go to, when you're a wedding photographer, a lot of decisions are made for you. The venue is an existing situation that you come into, and you have to come there, and regardless of what the weather is that day, or what the surrounding environment is, you have to come in and make beautiful portraits for these people, no matter what the situation. So I developed the skill of going into a location and finding what's the best backdrop, what's going to be the best lighting situation, and if it's not good, how are we going to make it better so that we can produce something beautiful for these people on demand. And that's a kind of a thing that I've incorporated into how I work. So now pretty much everything I do is mobile and location based. So whether it's a family portrait or a commercial job, I'm going to a location, bringing all the lighting gear I need, and finding the best possible situation that's going to get the best possible pictures for the client, and solve problems in the moment. And I think that it's definitely one of my skills that I bring to my photography work, and it seems to have worked so far. Does anybody have any questions? I think we have about a minute left.
Do you have a studio to go to, or do you do office? Do you come to the office, or do you do?
I do on location. If a job requires a studio, I can rent a studio. But no, I don't have a dedicated space that I keep. So I try and work with the client on their location. Gordon.
Do you use both digital and conventional?
I do. I shoot mostly digital just because the financial and the convenience of it. But I love shooting film. I shoot a lot of film in my personal life. The pictures I took last week just came back from the lab. I'll be working on those, and I'll be getting them to everybody who was in a picture. But yeah, I love shooting film. It's really special.
I really appreciate the way you fit into the group. You just came in, you're a great guy, and I'm glad to see that you're getting business here, and hopefully we can continue that. Great.
Thanks, Tom. It's good to be here. Thank you.